Hi guys, Sandra here of the blog sensiblemom.com. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am going to be sharing how I gained 100 pounds in 9 months. And I'm also going to be giving you guys some history of how I've gained weight and lost weight over the years. So that is what's going to be coming up in this video today. Okay. And then I wanted to let you guys know, if you want to leave a question, to go ahead and put a Q colon before your question in the chat box, and that'll make your question searchable so that I can quickly see it and so that I can answer it hopefully at the end of the video. If I'm not able to get to your questions, I will try to leave a comment on them, or I might take your question and turn it into a video later on, answering your question that way. So like I said, today I'm going to be talking about how I gained 100 pounds in 9 months, give you some of my weight history, and also stay tuned till the end of the video because I am going to be sharing my current weight as well as my size, and there's some exciting news there. And then also I'm going to be sharing my goal weight, and I did share some of that information down in, well, you can check it out in the previous video. You can find that link down in the description box below to my last video, where I'm sharing like my goal weight and my current size and things like that. But actually some stuff has changed with my size. So like I said, stay tuned till the end for that. And then I think that's it. I think that's all I need to say up front. So I'm going to go ahead and get right into this since I do have a lot to share today. And let's go ahead and get started. So how I gained 100 pounds in 9 months is going to be coming up. Before that, we are going to talk a little bit about my weight history, basically. So when I was a kid, I had a very just normal weight until I started going to, well, I guess my weight gain, I think from memory. Okay, I'm going from memory. My weight started to go up as a child, probably somewhere around 7, 8, 9 years old. And welcome to everyone who is joining us right now. Welcome, welcome. So yeah, my weight started to go up probably somewhere around 7, 8, 9 years old. Basically, my parents used to send us to Mexico when we were young, and I'm very grateful for that, very thankful for that. I had a wonderful time during our summers in Mexico. We went many times, and we would go for like the whole summer. We would get out of school, we would go to Guadalajara, Mexico, where my family lived, and we'd be there for our summer vacation, and then we came back right before school started again. So when we were down there, I always had a little bit of money to buy some junk food pretty much every single day. So, and I could just walk to the store. Okay, it wasn't like how it is here, where if I wanted to go buy some junk food, I'm gonna have to get in the car and go to the store. No, my aunt had a store for a time right next to her house, like literally was attached to her house. Okay, she didn't own it, but someone else was running the store, but we could literally just go next door and get a bag of chips, some candy. We could buy these things that were like elephant ears, and they were full of sugar, and I used to love them so much. They look like a pinwheel and just full of fat and sugar and not good things. And so pretty much every single day I was eating something like that. And then, you know, along with all the delicious but not healthy foods, and like the tacos. And right before bedtime, I remember that my family would be like, hey, do you want some sweet bread with some, they call it chocomil, chocolate milk? And I was like, yes, I do. So I would have that often before bed, or tacos. We would go to the taqueria, which again, very close, like literally 1 to 2 minutes away from my aunt's house, and you were at a taco stand. So we were doing that, and just having a lot of really rich, delicious Mexican food. And I started to gain weight as a kid. So, so yeah, then we would come back to the States and back home, and I would go to school. And I just, I grew up just eating the standard American diet where we just had regular, regular foods that I think most people grew up on. Mac and cheese, hot dogs, hamburgers, pizza, and then we also had lots of Mexican food. We had lots of family get-togethers with my other with my cousins and things like that. And so we were eating just lots of Mexican food and not a lot of fruits and vegetables and just the standard American diet. So my weight as a child crept up to 150 pounds. And now that doesn't sound like a lot because that's about where I'm at right now, but I'm a grown woman. So as a kid, that was a lot. And I went to a small school where there was only like 16 or 17 kids in my class. So I was like one of the biggest girls, if not the biggest girl. It was me. And hello, thank you for joining, Tawana. And so it was me, and it was one other girl in my class that were overweight. But I think for me, it was a little bit more noticeable, well, a lot more noticeable, because I was very short and she was taller than I was. So her weight was spread out more, whereas my weight was more compact. So even if maybe we weighed the same, she maybe didn't look as overweight as I did because I'm, like I told you guys last time, only 5'1.5". So I was also, well, I think there might have been one girl shorter than me, but almost the shortest girl in my class as well. So yeah, so I kind of stuck out like a sore thumb in a very small school being overweight. So yeah, my weight got up to 150 pounds. And by the time I was about 11 years old, or it was around this, I'm going to say it was around the end of my 6th grade year, I was just so tired of it. I was really tired of being the overweight kid in my class. And so I decided to put myself on a 1,200 calorie diet. And so I did that. I believe it was toward the end of my 6th grade year and into that summer. So I put myself on a 1,200 calorie diet. I had a little, kind of like a little booklet, I guess, journal, where I would write down my calories every day. I was measuring my food, and I had this book, this calorie book. It was very thick, and it told me like the different calories in food and how many calories were in certain restaurant foods. And so I was constantly in that book, and I was doing that. And it wasn't hard for me because when I lost the first 5 pounds as a child, I realized that I could actually lose weight after being overweight for so long, I was hooked. I was so excited when I lost 5 pounds the first week that I put myself on a diet. And then the next week I lost another 4 or 5 pounds, and I was like, yeah, I'm doing this. And so over a summer, I had lost about 30 pounds. So that when I started my 7th grade year, one of my teachers actually noticed and commented that I looked good. And so then I was around 120 pounds, and that's pretty much where I stayed until about my junior year in high school. I think it's where I started gaining a little bit more weight, and then I gained even more weight. But after that, and I will get into that. So my teenage years here, I stayed around 120 pounds. And so I would go up or down 5 pounds. So I might go down to 115, or I might be up around 125. But that's kind of where I stayed after I lost that initial weight over that summer. And I do want to mention that I also did walk. And so I put myself on that 1,200 calorie diet, and then I would walk around the block. And we lived out in the country. So walking around the block was a really big deal. You were walking like all the way down past like this whole row of corn, and then you'd go to the next street, and that was a very long street. And so walking around the block wasn't the same as walking around the block here in the suburbs where we live right now. We got good walks, and so the weight just fell off that summer, and I was really happy. So but then, like I said, in my teenage years, I was kind of like around 120 pounds, up or down about 5 pounds, and I stayed there until until I started going out with my husband, and we started eating out, and then the weight crept up to about 155 pounds when I got pregnant, and I actually got pregnant my senior year in high school, and then the wheels just fell off, and I went kind of crazy during my pregnancy. I started just eating kind of whatever I wanted to, and this is basically the story where I gained 100 pounds because, like I said, I was around 150, 155 when I got pregnant. And then I just let myself eat pretty much whatever I wanted. I was going to school and working at the time. And so I was just eating out, and I was eating ice cream out of the carton. And I was just eating like Doritos, just, big bags of Doritos, just eating right out of the bag. And I had lots of Italian beefs. If you're from the Chicagoland area, you know what I'm talking about. Tons of cheesy beefs from Rosati's with the fried mushrooms and fries and all the good things. And so the weight just started piling on during that pregnancy. And my doctor was concerned, and she was like, hey, this weight is not going to be necessarily easy to get off once you've got it on. And so she sent me to see a dietitian, and I was 18 at the time. And so I went and saw a dietitian, and she told me all the classic things, like showed me the deck of cards and how much meat I should be eating, and talked to me about good choices of dairy and, eating fruits and vegetables and stuff like that. So all the classic things that a dietitian would tell you. And I pretty much probably went in one ear and out the other. I do think that towards the end of my pregnancy, I tried to be more careful, but I was gaining a lot of weight every month. And I guess at that point, being that young, I thought that the weight would just come off after I had the baby, my firstborn, my son, but it didn't. Some of it did initially, because I remember that at my postpartum, when my delivery weight was 252 pounds. Yeah, 252 pounds. I started around 150, 155, and when I delivered my son, I was 252 pounds, which is crazy. And so that's how I gained 100 pounds in 9 months. I went from thin to very overweight, and I was not healthy, and my knees were bothering me, and not good at all. But I was pretty happy when I went to my postpartum check-in 6 weeks later, and I had lost 40 pounds. So I was at 212, and I felt pretty good about myself as far as the weight loss so far. But the problem was that after that appointment, my weight kind of stalled and wasn't coming off anymore. Instead, I started gaining weight. And so I started gaining weight from there, and I was just not really paying a whole lot of attention to my weight. Instead, I was just kind of eating whatever, and I wasn't really taking a whole lot of really good care of myself. And so I was just eating just whatever. And so my highest weight not being pregnant crept up to 245 pounds. So that after I had delivered at 252 pounds and went down to 212 pounds, my weight eventually went back up to 245 pounds. So, yeah. And then, let's see here. I started a brief weight loss journey in 2011. Okay. So from there, I just kind of stayed in the 200s. And then I started a brief weight loss journey in, like I said, in 2011. Hold on a second here. Okay. So in January of 2011, I decided I was going to try to lose weight. So I started at 228 and a half pounds, and I ended my weight loss journey at 213 and a half pounds. And I ended that journey after only 4 months because I found out that I was pregnant with my fifth child, my daughter. And so I had to end that journey. And I went through my pregnancy with her. I only gained, I think, 31 pounds. And so I had a pretty healthy weight gain. And I delivered her. And then in December of 2011, and then I started trying to lose weight again in 2012. So by that point, we had started watching videos and documentaries about healthy eating, and we watched Forks Over Knives and some other videos and information about like what we should be eating, what's healthy, what's not healthy, how we should be getting the meat and the dairy and those types of things out of our diet. And so we started juicing. We bought a food dehydrator. We bought a juicer. We bought lots of healthy food, and we were eating lots of organic food at the time. And so when I started my weight loss journey again in 2012, I started at 219 and a half pounds, and then I ended it in 2013 at 182 pounds. And I was pretty happy at that point with my weight loss. And I wanted to get into the 170s. I never was able to get into the 170s at that point. But that was at that point because in 2013, August 2013, my son ended up being diagnosed with a horrible disease called aplastic anemia, and he needed a bone marrow transplant. And I feel like when he had his diagnosis, it just felt like a bomb had exploded in my life, and I feel like I just instantly gained 10 pounds. And so I found myself in the 190s very quickly. And pretty much that is where I stayed throughout all of his treatment and everything, and throughout his transplant and everything. And praise the Lord that David did have a bone marrow donor, and he donated his bone marrow very generously, and David is alive and doing well today, and we're so thankful to the Lord for that. And so once he got on the road to recovery, I decided to try to start losing weight again. So in 2014, I was able to get down to 187 pounds, and then I bumped back up into the 190s though. And I pretty much stayed in the 190s until around 2017. Okay, so in 2017, we went on an RV adventure, okay? And when we were getting ready at the end of 2016 to go on our RV adventure, I had already started gaining a little bit of weight. So I was hanging around for the most part in the low 190s. And then as we were getting ready for our RV adventure and everything, we were preparing and not eating the healthiest foods. And so by the time we were going to leave, I was 197, 198, somewhere around there. I weighed myself for the last time, and then we put our scale in the garbage because you can only take so many things in the RV, and we decided not to bring the scale. Now, I am typically a daily weigher, and I know that that's not for everyone, but it's definitely for me. I do best when I weigh myself every day. And if you are the type of person where if you weigh yourself every day, you're going to feel really discouraged and you're going to get down, or you might get upset with your family if the scale is not agreeing with you that day, I would say don't weigh yourself every day. But if you're able to weigh yourself every day and have a good attitude and, just be aware of where you're at, then I say go for it. So I am a daily weigher, but at that point, we decided, you know what, the scale's not coming with. The bathrooms in the RV, or the bathroom in the RV was very small. We had one bathroom for all 7 of us, and it's very tiny. And so we decided not to take the scale with us. So when we finished our RV adventure, 5.5 months later, I came back and stepped on the scale, and I weighed, wow, 217 pounds. Okay, 217 pounds. So I had gained around 20 pounds. Okay, so clearly, not weighing myself every day did not work out for me at all. So, so then after that, we bought a house, and we moved into this house in May of 2018, and I stepped on the scale at that point, and I weighed at 209 pounds. So I had come down a little bit in weight, but I still had quite a bit of weight to lose. So I started on a whole new weight loss journey once again. So in 2018, I was at 209. And then by the end of 2019, I weighed 190.6. So I had lost 18.4 pounds in about a year and 8 months, which is not bad at all. And it came off very slowly, very, very slowly, but I was happy with that. And I think my family, didn't really even notice a lot, because it just kind of came off very gradually and very slowly as I was making better and healthier choices for myself. And then in 2020, though, I only lost 4.2 pounds in 2020. So I was 186.4 pounds at the end of 2020. So I didn't lose a whole lot of weight in 2020. And that was okay. But I still had a lot of weight to lose, and I wanted to keep on going. So then something happened in 2021. My husband ended up having some health issues, and he went to the doctor, and the doctor encouraged him basically to eat less meat and dairy, and just basically to kind of change his diet and to start eating better. And so that kind of led us down the plant-based journey, and looking into that material again. So we ended up watching a documentary called What the Health? And it was very eye-opening. I remember after my husband and I watched it first, and I remember that night after we watched it, laying in bed and being like, I'm never buying milk again. I'm done. So like the next day, we made the switch back to, actually back in the day, we used to buy almond milk all the time. And then we went back to cow's milk. And after we saw What the Health, now we buy oat milk. And I like it a lot better than almond milk. I like almond milk. It's fine. It's good. But I just think that oat milk, and they've got tons of different plant milks out there now. So out of all of the ones that they've got available, you can find something that you like. So we have found that we really like oat milk. So we made the switch over to oat milk and really enjoyed that. And we just started gradually incorporating more plants into our diet, and just taking out a lot of the meat and the dairy and things. And just by doing that, and not being totally 100%, we didn't go totally 100% whole food plant-based or totally 100% vegan. And I don't really see that ever happening 100% completely. So we're trying to do like 90%, 95%, with still allowing for like treats and things like that. So just by making those changes, though, in 2021, I lost 17.8 pounds in 2021 after moving to a more plant-based diet. So it made a significant difference in my weight, and I was really excited to get into the 170s, and then by the end of 2021 to be at 168.6 pounds. And you have to understand that I hadn't been that weight in over 20 years. So I was very excited. But as you can see, even though we moved to a plant-based diet, I didn't lose tons of weight. I'm happy with the weight I lost in 2021, but I didn't lose like 40 or 50 pounds. I would hear about, people losing weight, and they lose these exorbitant amounts of weight in a short amount of time. And I was like, that's not me. That's not happening for me. So I accepted that I have hypothyroidism and I lose weight very slowly. So when 2022 rolled around, I made a goal to lose 15 pounds. So I said, okay, I want to lose 15 pounds this year. So at the end of 2022, I would like to be 153.6 pounds. I know how my body works. I lose weight very, 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 very slowly. So that's going to be my goal. And I started blogging about it on my blog. It's thesensible.mom.com this year. And so I just started, eating even more plant-based and everything. And so I lost a couple pounds, and I got down to 166.6 pounds by March of 2022. And then I decided to do a little experiment, or I guess you can call it an experiment. But I had heard of Dr. Walter Kempner's rice diet from Dr. John McDougall, okay, who is a plant-based doctor, and he's got something called the starch solution, and he talks all about eating starches and having like starches being the main part of your meal, having the potatoes and the rice and the pasta and things like that be the main part of your meal, and then along with fruits and vegetables. Okay, so I had been watching Dr. McDougall for a long time, and Chef AJ for a long time. She's also plant-based, and she's got a great show here on YouTube. And so he was on her show, and he was talking about Dr. Walter Kempner yet again and his rice diet. I'd already heard about it many times, but this time I decided, let me go look into this a little bit more. And so I ended up looking into it, and I was intrigued, and I bought the rice diet book. Apparently this was a thing back in the day, you guys. So for people who are older, you guys might remember that this was all the rage, maybe in the 70s and the 80s, and I had never heard of it. But this was super popular back in the day. And so the rice diet was a big thing. And I wish I had known about it sooner, because maybe I would have lost some of this weight sooner. So anyway, we decided in March to give the rice diet a whirl, right? So I'd gotten this book, and this book basically gives you the original rice diet. This is the Rice Diet Report by Judy Moskowitz, and she went to the Rice House, and she met Dr. Kempner. She was one of his patients, and she lost a lot of weight on the rice diet. I think it was over 100 pounds. And so she's got the whole original rice diet outlined in this book. So that's what we decided to do over a weekend, over a period of a few days. Okay, we decided let's do this, right? And so we did, and I was just blown away by the results, basically, is what happened. And that's what resulted in me getting all these other books because it worked so well. So I got all these books. I found all these books on Thrift Books. Okay. So I went and got a bunch of other rice diet books. Now, these were written not by Dr. Kempner and not by Judy Moskowitz, but later on, Dr. Rosati and his wife, Kitty Rosati, ended up taking over the Rice House where rice diet patients would stay, some of them anyway, and they were running it, and they had written some of these books and everything. So, and I wanted to know more about the rice diet. I wanted to get more into it because of the results that I had seen over just the short amount of time that I was doing it. Because the big thing about the rice diet is that you are keeping your sodium very, very low. And so that for me, I didn't pay a lot of attention. I guess I didn't pay a lot of attention to sodium in the past. I would look at calories and fat and that type of thing, but not a whole lot to the sodium. And when I went on the rice diet and I was eating almost, no sodium, very, very low sodium for that short amount of time, I noticed such a change. I woke up one day at 9 o'clock in the morning. Okay. And that was early for me because it was hard for me to wake up early. Okay. And my head felt clear. It was like after, I think, one day of being on the rice diet, okay, my head felt clear and I was able to wake up just feel like, hey, I'm up, I'm awake, my mind is clear, my head is clear. And this is interesting. I'm not thinking that this is really anything, right? I wasn't looking for this at all, but I'm just like, I wonder if this has anything to do with how we're eating right now. And then the next day, I was able to wake up early. And the next day, I was able to wake up early. And the next day, and the next day, and so on and so forth until today. Okay, 4 months later, I am able to wake up at 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. And I am able to, I'm able to have a clear mind. And I am able to function so much better being on a low sodium diet. So that is definitely for me. And that's one of the principles that I took away from the rice diet and the principles that I learned. And then there's a lot more, and I'm going to get into this in a future video. So I don't want to I feel like I spent a lot of time on it already on this video, but I'm going to get into more of the principles that I took away from the rice diet later on. This one I want to focus more on my weight loss journey. But yeah, after I went on the rice diet briefly and it was completely life-changing, and I bought the books, and I started learning more about they kind of modified the rice diet. Dr. Rosati and his wife, Kitty Rosati, they modified the original one a little bit, but it's still very doable, and they're just great things about it. And so I decided to take what I had learned from the rice diet and modify it and make it fit my lifestyle. Okay, I knew that whatever I did and whatever I do, it's gotta be a lifestyle, or it's not gonna work for me. The weight's not gonna stay gone. It's gonna come back, and that's not something I'm ever gonna let happen ever again. So let's see here. Let's move on. Yeah, this has got to be a lifestyle that I can live with, and that I can live out and enjoy. So fast forward to today, which is just 4 months later. Today's weight, okay, after going on the rice diet and now taking some of the principles that I learned on the rice diet, along with everything I've learned from the plant-based doctors and the whole plant-based world, I've kind of put those things together, and then along with what I feel is important to me and to my family, I have come up with a lifestyle where I'm able to lose weight while I am in the weight loss phase of that lifestyle, and I'm able to live this way and just be happy and just really enjoy life. Okay. And so in 4 months since I've made this change, I am now down 18.2 pounds in 4 months, which is crazy good. And today's weight was 184.4 pounds. So last week, if you were with me, I weighed 149.4 pounds. So I've lost another pound since last week. Yay. And my current size is, let's see here. My current size is mostly size 8, but I did have some exciting news to share, that after we chatted last week, I think it was the next day, either Friday or Saturday, we had some Kohl's cash to use. And so I decided to go to Kohl's with my husband. We had to get some things for one of my sons. And I decided just for fun to see, like, what would it be like to try on a pair of size 6 pants? Okay. What would it be like? How far do I have to go? How much do I need to work? How much longer do I think it's going to take before I can actually fit into a pair of size 6 pants? So got a pair of size 6 pants, and I went into the dressing room and I tried them on, and I fit them. They fit me, and I'm wearing them today. So this is me today. I was able to fit into those size 6 pants, and yeah, I'm very happy. I'm very excited. And yeah, this is me today. And I'm going to continue on. So I know I told you guys, if you joined me in my last video, what my goal weight was. So my goal weight is around 120 to 125. And like I said, once I get there, I will kind of evaluate things and see if I want to try to go for 115 or something. So we'll see. But right now, I'm just really happy. And that is my story, basically. And I do call this my 1,000 calorie feel full lifestyle while I'm in the weight loss phase. Now, I know that there might be some new people joining us today. And you might not have seen my last video where I show you how I'm eating 1,000 calories and staying full. Okay. And like I said in my last video, which you guys can check it out with the link in the description box below, I am not drinking like tons of water every day. Basically, I'm drinking water. Okay. But I'm mostly getting the water and the fiber and the nutrients that my body needs through food. Okay. So I love eating like loaded mashed potatoes, but that are healthy and they're full of vegetables and they're potatoes. So they're very satisfying and filling and satiating, and they're my main starch. And then I just load those up with spices and vegetables. So yeah, that is what I'm doing. And I'm going to get into more of this in future videos. So if you guys want to see more, be sure to hit that subscribe button and like this video as well. And that's pretty much all I had to say for today's video. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to look now at the chat box and see if there are any questions. So you are welcome for the inspiration. Yes, inspiration is so important. So I am very inspired by hearing other people's stories. And if you guys want to hear some really inspiring stories, definitely check out Chef AJ's YouTube channel. She live streams like every day. So yeah, she's got tons of plant-based doctors, and there's just tons of inspiration on her YouTube channel. And I really enjoyed that. And thank you to everyone that joined me today. Let's see if there's anything else here. Yeah, a lot. Yeah. In countries where their primary food is rice, you see a lot of thin people, and that is not by accident. And I also want to mention that the rice diet doesn't mean that you're necessarily eating rice only. It has the name, the rice diet, and that's what it was dubbed because that's the main food that the people who were originally on the diet were, that's the main food that they were consuming. But on the rice diet, you can actually eat other foods as well. Lots of fruits and vegetables, okay? And they even incorporate some meat on the diet. So like at the Rice House, they would have fish once a week. And in the books, they recommend that you have just a little bit of dairy. For them, they put that in the book just so that you can, I think just so that they make sure that you get enough sodium, like at least 500 milligrams of sodium, because Dr. Rosati and Kitty Rosati in the book, they recommend that you get 500 to 1,000 milligrams of sodium a day, just so that you don't pass out or anything like that. But you really only need 150, your body only needs 150 milligrams, but they recommend 500 to 1,000. So that's about where I try to stay every day. And yeah, I'm not going to stay on this forever. So here's kind of like what I'm doing right now. So right now, while I am in the 1,000 calorie feel full phase of this lifestyle, I'm eating this way until I get to my goal weight. Okay. And once I reach my goal weight, then I'm going to bump my calories up by probably around 200 to 300 calories so that I will be in maintenance mode and be able to enjoy some of the other foods that I love. My favorite food in the world is tacos. And my second favorite food is popcorn. And so I'll probably be eating more air pop popcorn, just plain popcorn. I love it so much. And so I'll probably be eating more of that. And yeah, so I'm not going to do this for the rest of my life because I don't want to like, be under 100 pounds or anything. So yeah, so there is going to be a maintenance phase of this lifestyle. So once I get to my goal weight, then I'll move into the maintenance phase. So that means, like I said, I will bump my calories up by about 200 or 300 calories. And then I do also exercise. So I get on the treadmill, nothing strenuous or anything like that. I try to get on the treadmill like 3 or 4 days a week, and I just walk on the treadmill. And then I want to do more weights, but weights are one of those things that it's just hard for me. I just don't feel excited about weight lifting, or even, they're just small weights, like 3-pound weights. And even that is, I can be on the treadmill for a long time. No problem. I still only do I might do 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, or an hour or more. It just really depends on the day and what's going on. But yeah, I try to get on the treadmill probably 3 or 4 days a week for the most part. And I try to do weights. I want to do them 3 days a week. That's my goal. But sometimes might only be once or twice a week. So I really need to work on that. But yeah, that's what I'm doing for exercise. And so I think that's about it. So that's all for this video, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.